All right, thanks for sticking around for the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. I'm Rich Walsh in for Bob Pompiani. Tonight we got a big show planned for you. We're talking about the Steelers draft. They moved up to get their guy, Devin Bush. Also talking about the rest of the draft. And how about the Penguins? There could be moves coming up here in the near future, maybe a big trade. We'll talk about that. And is Bucco fever over in Pittsburgh? The Pirates just lost their 8th straight game today. And we got an all-star panel for you from left to right on your screen. We got Mark Kaboly from The Athletic, Will Graves from the Associated Press, and Tim Benz from Trib Live and DVE Radio, Steelers pregame show. And guys, the big news this weekend was the Steelers draft. How'd they do? I like what they did in the first round, moving up, being aggressive, going to get Devin Bush. Mark, you were there all weekend. What do you think? Do you like what they did? You like this move by the Steelers?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I mean, first of all, you don't find guys like Devin Bush in the draft, let alone on free agency market either. So if you have a chance to go get a guy, it's probably going to be early in the draft, and you're going to have to give up something to go up there and get it. So go ahead and go up and get it. I mean, you look, if you don't have an inside linebacker who can move sideline to sideline, it's going to cost you a lot of money on the free agency market. Look at C.J. Mosley. I mean, he signed 5 years, $85 million. You're not going to find those guys too very often past the top 10 picks. So if you had the capital to go up and get a guy that you love who is now fits into perfectly what the NFL allows you to do, or not allows you to do, forces you to do, go up and get him. If you're giving up a second and you're giving up a third, so be it. You'll deal with that later. But they had to address the position. It took them 18 months to do it. If it's going to cost you a little, oh, well, I mean, they had to do it, and I think it was a great move.
We're on here a lot talking about, like, when Jim Rutherford makes a move that doesn't work out, and then he goes and tries and rectifies it by he flips for guys like Jared McKinnon. I mean, let's remember last year the Steelers did not draft up. They didn't get Leighton Vander Esch. They didn't get Rashaan Evans, and they tried to make a go with it with John Bostic. It didn't work out. This year they said, you know what? We need to maybe face reality, the fact that we need an elite inside guy. Ryan Shazier, God bless him, he's an inspirational figure, probably never going to play football again. Let's just move forward. And they were aggressive this time in getting their guy. And that's what this whole draft is going to be based on. Everybody else, the other 8 guys, it doesn't matter. If they pan out great, this is the one that they're going to be remembered for. And to Kevin Colbert's credit, this time he didn't screw around.
Yeah, I love the move. I say go up and get quality. Give me quality over quantity. Look at the Steelers. They got 9 draft picks, and they still have holes that they couldn't address. Give me one guy who's definitely going to fix a position. And to echo Will's point, this is something that they've tried to do in the past. It's a major need. He erases the need, and he erases the failure to have attempted to do so before. And to a degree, at least he gives the Steelers a way to act like they're erasing the AB trade, which only yielded a 3rd and a 5th. Now, I don't completely buy the spin that they were putting out there that they couldn't have done this without the AB trade. Well, of course they could have. You still could have given away a 2nd and a 3rd. You just wouldn't have had 2 picks in the 3rd round. But again, so what? I mean, you got a wide receiver from Toledo that a lot of people are saying you took too early, and you got a cornerback from Michigan State where the first thing that Kevin Colbert talked about him was, hey, wasn't he a really good wide receiver when he played there? So, you know, for as intriguing as the rest of the draft may be, the most important part to me is they went up and got a guy who you could probably put in as a starter by midseason and maybe for the next 5 years, as Mark pointed out, at a very important position in the National Football League these days.
He was a 10th overall pick. Is he expected to be a difference maker this year?
Yes.
Is it a disappointment if he isn't?
No, I mean, when they have yes, it would be, absolutely. I think in all 3 cases of the guys that they got in free agency, meaning Moncrief Nelson and Mark Barron, these guys that they took in the first 3 rounds, I think they want to see those jobs taken by the rookies that they got in the first 3 rounds by season's end. They might be a little bit of a push for the corner position, but I'm of the opinion, especially with Bush, that by the middle of the season, they want him taking, if not all the snaps, then pretty close to them, and having Barron be somehow a different component, maybe like what Morgan Burnett wasn't last year.
I mean, don't discount the trickle-down effect that this has by drafting him. Now you can use a guy like Mark Barron, like you wanted to use Morgan Burnett.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly.
So it has that trickle-down effect. Now you just got what they wanted to do last year. They didn't have the players to pull it off. Now it sure seems like what they wanted to do last year, they now have the players to pull that off. So now it's on Keith Butler now if he can put those guys into position and come up with schemes for teams rather than schemes to hide his players.
By the way, a little bit off topic on this, but one of the more interesting comments, not just with Bush, but with Deontay Johnson and some of the other guys about character. I mean, they were talking about, this is the best interview I've had in many, many years. Some of the guys said about the guys they brought in. And I think when we're talking about the guys that are gone, I mean, was it intentional shade? I'm not really sure, but I certainly think that there was a component of this that is about chemistry. And look, I mean, this is not, Devin Bush comes from a football family. A lot of these guys come, TJ Watt comes from a football family. In the past few years, they've got guys that come from the family that sort of know how this game is supposed to be played, don't make it about themselves, don't make it about, their swag. And I think that was part of the process here. And I think when you want to get away from what has happened the last couple of years, if there are not going to be problems in the locker room and beneficiaries on the field, I think that's probably a good step in the right direction.
All right, guys, let's talk about the rest of the draft. Tim, you called it intriguing after Bush. And so now let's put some names to the Antonio Brown trade. It's Deontay Johnson and Zach Gentry. That's basically what you got for Antonio Brown. Do you like the rest of the draft?
Those two picks, I like the idea of going after a guy who has Antonio Brown's makeup on the field. And that's what they're talking about with Johnson. I think that's unfair to assume he will be AB, but I see them trying to go with the same mold, same size, coming out of a MAC school, a lot of the same attributes, at least in the scouting report that we've come to know about Brown if he were to maximize his talents. I thought they might have taken him a little bit high. I would have preferred Boykin out of Notre Dame. He was the guy I wanted to see them get at some point, maybe if not there, then in the third round. Gentry is a tight end who, if you look at the NFL.com rankings, there were 12 tight ends that were rated beneath him, that were drafted after him or not drafted at all. I thought that was a reach.
I don't know. I mean, look, they made Jesse James, our good buddy Jesse James, a multi-millionaire, right? I mean, and Jesse was, a fifth-round pick a few years ago. I mean, the Steelers have shown the one thing they can do, and the reason they have to keep drafting defensive guys in the first round, is because they can't really mold guys at the back end of the draft, with the rare exception of Vince Williams. But they can, with their skill position guys, make them difference makers. I mean, obviously, AB was a sixth-round pick. Let's remember Jalen Samuels, a fifth-round pick last year, who lit up the Patriots. I mean, they sort of, if they reach for skill set guys at the bottom of the draft, I'm sort of okay with that because of their track record.
I know me and Tim like to go back and forth saying one play away, but it sure seems like the Steelers think they were a one player away, because I don't see many of these guys actually helping out the cause immediately. Other than what we tend to forget is, I think all of these guys, other than maybe Buggs, the defensive lineman in the sixth round, can play special teams, a part of the game that they absolutely were terrible at last year, and they need to replace a guy like L.J. Fort. You got Johnson, who can kick and punt return. You got Lane, who's going to be on special teams right away.
Sutton Smith, I think, is going to be a big special teams guy.
Are earmarked to have some sort of chance to contribute in a really, really poor position on the team right away. So I can only, if only Devin Bush turns out to play and do any good in the first, this year, I still am okay with this.
I want to see one of those third rounders do something too. Or what's his name from Kentucky, the running back? Sorry, Snell.
Where's he going to fit in at? Where's Benny Snell fitting in at?
I don't know.
Hey, it could be a running back by committee.
I mean, we showed what happened last year. I mean, James Conner had a great year, and then he missed time in December.
Yeah, that's where he can help. And that's where Conner gets hurt.
If they can give James 20 touches to 22 instead of 25 to 30, that's probably a good thing. And Snell, much like Le'Veon Bell, was a workhorse in college. I'm not saying he's Le'Veon Bell, doesn't catch the ball like Le'Veon Bell. I'm not saying he has those skills, but he's a guy that is used to getting the ball and being productive, and I think that's a good thing. Nobody's expecting him to come in and be an all-pro, but if he can go 6 carries, 32 yards and catch a pass and block, especially, I think that's a good development for the Steelers.
I think it's for the season, right?
Did you, Jalen Samuels last year, what do you have, 170?
Well, the Steelers definitely addressed some needs in the draft, but there are other needs that they're going to have to address here and the rest of the free agency before training camp, and we'll get to that. I want to hear these guys' opinions on what else they need right now. That's all coming up next on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. Now let's take a look at a major move that's been made. The former Kenny Ross Chevrolet and Nissan in Zelienople are both now part of the #1 Cochran team. This is #1 Cochran's first ever Chevy franchise and Nissan store #4, right? Buy lease offers plus an extra $1,000 over KBB for your trade. Only at the new #1 Cochran Chevrolet and the #1 Cochran Nissan Cranberry. Back in a couple minutes.
Number One Cochran Sports Showdown is brought to you by Number One Cochran, Go One Better, and by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, and in your health.